Yo.
Solar eclipse. So yeah, I'm gonna be DJing the ecstatic dance at your solar eclipse festival, but I like to just hear your vision of what brought this through to share with the world, this powerful work that you're doing.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I love telling the origin story of Solarpunk Summit. I was actually working on an MMORPG, a concept for an MMORPG with a group called Civil X. And so it's a online role-playing game where people in this version of the game would be collaborating with each other, stepping into their passion and purpose, and finding people around the world who have projects that need their particular skills.
Mhm.
And the aesthetic for the game was a solar punk aesthetic.
Wow.
So if you're not familiar with solar punk art, it's this beautiful, radically optimistic envisioning of the future where nature and technology are balanced.
Yes.
Yes, it's very bright. It's hopeful. It's hopeful.
Yes.
And in a
Yes.
world of like lots of dystopian memes and tropes coming at us from everywhere, it really sets itself apart in terms of like visioning about the future. And so yeah, that was my introduction to it back in, I want to say 2020. So
Okay.
fairly new concept for me of like, oh, like this solar punk, it's so beautiful. And I had been in the realm of doing transformational events. And when we thought about, the next iteration of the event that we wanted to create that helped people to move into a different state of being, solar punk as the theme just made sense.
Yeah.
This
That's
was
cool.
it was in 2021. There was everything that was happening in 2020 and 2021, right?
Yeah.
We're all captured by a very dark reality, negative reality. And so the intention was to use this full resolution image of a beautiful future and to break us free of fear narratives and start to envision a more radically optimistic world for ourselves.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And that visualization is so powerful when we do it as a group to be able to dream awake the new future that we're living into. Yeah, it's so important to give people that light at the end of the tunnel to like, oh, this is what we can do, right? This is what we can envision. So powerful stuff. Cool.
It really is. And like a big part of that is not just like, what does the world look like? Your most radically optimistic vision of the world, but actually to go a step further and go, in that world where it's all beautiful and all as you would like it to be, who would you be in that world?
Yes, exactly.
How would you move in the world?
That's all the work that I do is like, I'm working on a lot of times with the readings for like over the last decade, the individual level of what is your highest excitement and what you love to do. And that's what the world needs the most. Is for you to be fully lit up and turned on. And then you have a place in that new vision moving forward of your highest offering of what you bring to the world. So it's pretty exciting so when was your first, is this your first event coming up October 14th or?
No, actually, this will be the 4th Solarpunk Summit, like the 4th big event. Yeah, it's a 4-day experience. We've done 4 or 5 days. This is a 4-day experience with a really beautiful narrative arc. So we've done this a few times, and we know I'm really confident about the magic that we create in this container. It's like nothing else.
Yeah, and that 4 is the foundational number too. That's when things get set. So here we go.
Here we go.
And so have they been during eclipses before, or is this the first one?
Well, this is the first one that's during an eclipse. And so generally the first 2 times it happened on an Aries new moon and full moon. I didn't choose that on purpose. It just was what happened. And I thought, oh, wow. And I'm in Aries. So I thought, okay, yeah, we're going to run with that. And so the next one I chose intentionally, that I believe it was an Aries new moon. This time around, the dates just didn't work out. It just didn't work out to do that. And so I really chose the date quite randomly, just like, okay, here's the next possible time that we could
random,
do it.
but not random.
Random, but not random. That's what I think is really interesting and really magical, is that now this event is happening during the solar eclipse. And I found out maybe 2 weeks after I chose the date from a friend, Harold. Now he lives in San Antonio in the path of the eclipse. And he said to me, hey, there's an eclipse. And I go, oh my God, I didn't know that. So, and so then I started to look into eclipses and like historically how people, and culturally how people see eclipses. And I thought, okay, I'm a storyteller, right? Like in my own life, I want to create a beautiful story for myself. How can we take the energy, this transformative energy, the energy of the shadow, and move through it together in community and safety, nurture, and joyfulness?
Yes.
And
Brilliant. Here we are. It's so exciting. I mean, that's why I wanted to talk to you, because the eclipses are just the most potent time for people to do the deepest transformation. Because like you're saying, it's when the shadows become visible, right? And so our conscious mind, what we identify as throws a shadow, and we don't really want to see it. We don't want to see that other part. So the eclipses show us that scary stuff, right? But ultimately, that's the other half of you, right? And so when you get to see that other half, the downsides and kind of like the dark sides and the shadow, then you can be all of you, right? And people can poke at your darkness and you're like, yeah, that's a part of the downside of being me. And here we go. Like I'm a fully embodied being. And if it wasn't for that dark, right, there could be no contrast to see my light, right?
Yeah.
So powerful. And so with the eclipses, like even in the traditional Vedic system, they actually recommend hiding from the eclipse light, like staying away from it, because it's such a potent dose of destabilized, unpredictable light frequency, right? But for the yogi or for the person that's into transformation, it's like taking a dose of really deep medicine and being able to sit with it and ingest it and to have it do its work on you, Yeah. And so, oh my gosh, the whole nation is about to be dosed with 2 eclipses, like cutting through, literally like crossing at Texas, right?
Yeah.
It's so crazy. For October 14th and then April 8th is the big one. And so symbolically, we look at the eclipse that happened before, I think it was 2017, right? Or 16, the big one, the Great American Eclipse, right around the time Trump was elected. It's like cutting a dividing line through the nation, these eclipses. And wherever the eclipses are visible, they have the most impact. They create the most destabilization. And so it's literally going to cut through America twice, going from Oregon to Texas, and then from the East Coast through Texas again, right? In April. And so with the elections coming up, it's cutting that line, it's drawing those lines, and it's all right, time to choose sides, right? Because that's how politics work. It's not about being central in the middle, it's about choosing one side or the other. And that's the only way you can get elected, unfortunately, So it's going to be like a big, starting October 14th, your festival, the beginning of this big dividing line, right? And so,
I like that.
Yeah, go ahead. No, you go ahead, please.
I like that. I'm all about integration and unity. Like, how can we come together?
Yes.
But, it's all about choice, right? And people are going to make different choices. So when we are curating this container, what we're talking about is making a choice. Like, it's this or that. You can stay in the old paradigm, the old narrative, you can stay in that separation, or you can be one of the ones to say, no, we're doing it a different way and we're moving forward. And we're moving forward in a field of people who have different perspectives, but we choose to be unified.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that leads into the solution, right? Which is what you're providing at this festival. And this, you're going to be doing a global meditation. Right? Yeah. So tell me about that.
So,
because that's what I want to say, because that's really the solution, is to be in a mindful place during the eclipse and to be in the purest. It's kind of like, how do you want to take your medicine? Do you want it to be with coffee, or do you want it to be with the best elixirs to hold it just right to take in the purest dose of that transformation? So
yeah, totally. Again, from darkness into light, and doing it in a field of love, right? Taking that medicine and having it be guided and with pure intention and love. And that's what, that coming into the Solarpunk Summit, that's what we're doing. Is there's beautiful facilitation. We're partnering with Unify to create this global meditation. So for the entire transit of the eclipse, we have a curated experience. So it's really this idea of moving through the portal together, harnessing all of that transformative energy, casting a vision out and a prayer for what the future can be, and then stepping into it together, right? And holding that resonant frequency. So we'll start off with some storytelling and really helping people to understand a little bit about the energies of the eclipses, some of the mythos in terms of the masculine and the feminine. You know, we're weaving that in as well, the return of feminine wisdom into our organizing principles. So like, what does that look like when we meet? And then Unify, they host global meditations. They've been doing this for something like 10 years, like millions and millions of people. So we're hosting that from the Solarpunk Summit.
Amazing.
Yeah, and it'll be a meditation and a prayer. And there's something really powerful about when we all come together and we hold an intention together. It can be very powerful. So and then after the Unify meditation will lead into a beautiful sound healing orchestra. And I am excited about it. There are all these.
I just want to say that my son and his mom are going to be that orchestra.
Yeah.
Part of that, which is, oh my God. And I'm moving to Austin, Texas, and just, that's amazing. So
it really is. I saw a video. I haven't been, I'm high level organizing the full event, and then there are the individual parts. And so I got to see a little snippet of the sound healing orchestra, and I saw your son in it. And I literally was brought to tears.
Oh, so good. Me too. Guess what? So this is really rare. You can look at the exact moment of somebody's solar return, the exact minute that their sun was in the sky. You can look at that, and it's different. Sometimes your solar return could be the day before your birthday or the day after. So his solar return is right during the eclipse. Like, that never can happen ever. For the exact moment of that eclipse to happen right during his solar return on his birthday.
Wow, that's big energy.
So him doing the performance, and him with his mom. And then also part of that, bringing that forward, right? I'm going to be doing an ecstatic dance the next day, right? Which helps embody and celebrate the transformation, so we can be in that joy and get all the downloads we got, and then put it into our body, get it out of the mind, get it into our body, get it into our spirits, and that bliss and that joy. So such a beautiful thing. My family is coming to offer this transformation by sharing our gifts with the world. So thank you for giving us the platform for that on such a huge level.
I appreciate it. What is highlighted for me in that is that we all have a different way to engage with the Solarpunk Summit. what it's going to mean for your son, for what it's going to mean for you, what it means for your family, what it means for me, or like any of the myriad of people who are coming into the summit to be a part of the experience, whether they're receiving in the experience. These are very meaningful points in people's experience that puts you on a truly different timeline. And
exactly, that's what I'm about to say. Doing that global meditation, we have the opportunity to timeline jump, to create a whole new quantum, reality into dreaming awake our highest excitement.
Yeah. And I feel like it's important to say because of that. So there is this eclipse experience. It's one day of the event. It's actually a 4-day event. You're in a larger narrative. Like we bring together people because we go through the themes of regenerative culture, technology, and consciousness. We're trying to think of like, how do you get to that future world? Where here are the parts. And we bring in people in those realms who are deeply passionate. They're providing solutions to some of the challenges that we actually have in this world, right? We're not just like hippies in the woods and like envision it. Yeah, we are that. We're partly that, but we're all of it. And so there are actual real solutions that people can step into right now that can put them on the path to feeling the embodiment of that new paradigm, that new choice that's available to them. So we go through this whole from Thursday, when we're bringing people in and honoring everyone as an individual, to Friday, where we move into the earth energy and we're talking about regenerative culture, but then we're coming together as a tribe in a very like earthy tribal way, to Saturday, where there's the eclipse. And we move through the portal together. When we talk about technology, it's also Fire Day. It just happens to be Fire Day of the summit.
The eclipses. So in Vedic astrology, they're given the north node Rahu and the south node Ketu, and every 6 months the sun and the moon get in between those shadow points, and it's all about innovation and innovative technologies are these energies. So these eclipses have that exponential power to be able to, for all of us to kind of go within and find a whole new solution outside of the box from what we're used to, right? And it's going to that group energy coming together, and we're allowed to pop into that like oversoul or that soul group that we're all a part of, and to see what our lane is. Where do we belong in that? And that's with what you love to do the most. And that's how you contribute to that same vision. But please continue with the story of earth to fire, and then.
Yeah, so it starts air to earth to fire, which is the eclipse, patient, the prayer, the talking, the tech talks, and then we move into this really beautiful evening rebirth of the goddess costume festival. So it's like a very playful energy, and it's a playful expression of that more serious or more earnest theme, which is the return of feminine wisdom, right? Like with the masculine is very directed and it's beautiful. We can look at the progress that has been made in our reality and go, oh yes, that masculine energy. And so now to have the feminine energy come in and to create a more holistic experience for us all. That's what we're celebrating.
Beautiful. And so I helped start a friend and teacher's business over the pandemic called the Veda Mandala, where it pulls in all these Vedic sciences. And all that he's been talking about is this 3,000-year shadow of the masculine dominance, where we're valuing masculine cleverness and design, but the feminine is the terrain, right? So the masculine has the design and the structure, but the feminine's the actual raw power in that Shakti. And so we've been taking advantage of that, putting this design and that cleverness, but not honoring the feminine wisdom. And so, it's a big part of what's coming back to balance is those polarities coming together to be able to balance form with the design, rather than just this design that's killing and hurting the form. If people say something clever and funny, that's going to get all the likes. But if people say something wise and feminine, not as many likes, right? So we're shifting the values to honor both the cleverness and the wisdom of the feminine, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly, truly. And I love hearing a person like you who's thinking about the astrology and has all of this information, as I'm like on a parallel track with no idea what's happening in the stars. I'm just doing things. But what I love is how frequently it actually aligns with, so it's an affirmation, it's a validation that
Yes.
there's the sense of being supported by a current, right? That
Exactly.
is moving us all in that direction, and that feels
Yeah.
really good.
When we're in that flow, all the synchronicities and all the omens just pop.
Mhm. Yeah.
When we're in that flow, then it's, oh, everything just perfectly lines up, and it's, yes, we're on the right path. We're in our lane, so to speak.
We're in our lane. We're in our
Yeah.
lane. And how beautiful it is to find that lane. And that's part of the Solarpunk Summit too, is like having the space to figure that out, to explore new ideas, to become inspired. Maybe you don't know yet what your passion and purpose is in this life. Maybe you haven't even considered it. Well, this is an opportunity where we're all sitting around and going, wait a minute.
Exactly.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. And the amount of clarity you have on that is proportionate to the vitality you have in your life. The more that you are really clear about what your lane is, the more focus, the more value you bring, the more discipline, the more energy you have. And so gathering together all these kindred spirits and these soul groups and things coming together, we can reflect onto each other and to be able to see that we're a part of something bigger and get to see where we fit into it. But it takes that like group consciousness to be able to remove from that small ego identification into the bigger picture, to be able to have contrast to see who you are relative to yourself and to the group. Yeah.
Yeah.
So powerful.
It's so powerful.
So who's performing, or what are the artists like at the Goddess Return of the Goddess?
So there is a beautiful artist, Ruby Chase, who she is representing the divine feminine goddess energy. If you've ever met her, it's interesting because when I met her in person, she's such a small little person, but she's so big. She has a big presence, and she's really embodying the goddess energy for us at Solarpunk Summit. There's Savage, there's David Starfire, Suhan, Blumerian. There are like so many
all the homies.
All the homies. Then we have all of these incredible speakers as well, people who are doing things, a lot of the community leaders. So if you're in Austin or Texas, or down to be part of an online community, so much of this experience is not about just having a peak experience and going back home. It's about connecting to the community that's going to help you to stay in that vibration, so that and have you be the beacon out in the world that's pulling more and more people in. We're doing real things here.
No, for real. Yeah, your network is your wealth. Like money comes from the value you offer other people. And so the more people you connect with, like-minded on the same path, just exponentially builds the collaboration into dreaming awake this solar punk vision.
Really, I love, when I just like decided to do this thing, I didn't have anything. I just had a vision, and this is what we use the word goddess, and I use it playfully, but I actually mean it in a very practical sense, which is it's the act of creation. It's having a vision and then manifesting it into reality so that it can be a shared experience. That is the act of creation. And no matter who you are, what your history, and I have my history, and I had all my stories, and all of the reasons that I might fail, couldn't do, but exercising the courage to just move forward, to seek out support, and to make a thing happen from literally nothing. Now we all get to share in an experience that is in incredible. It's, so I love telling that story, because if there's anyone out there that thinks, oh, not me, no, this whole movement is a validation of you.
Yeah.
Yes, you.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is when you provide those beacons, it starts to light up other people, and they're like, yes, wait, that is me. They'll hear that soul whisper, and
Mhm.
the genius listens to the whisper of the soul, right? And
Yeah.
that's where so by putting out these beacons of these offerings, we're able to, oh, Johnny over there and Jill over here start to get lit up, and they start to remember what they're here for.
Yeah.
Thanks so much. For really, transformative events is my whole thing. It's where my healing work and my music converge together. Do the transformation, consciously do the work, have all the protocols for having a great time afterwards, and like embodying it and being in that place of celebration and joy, and like whole body, like yes to the transformation that we'll undergo. So
Yeah.
I look forward to more.
I want to say about you coming out to the summit, someone had mentioned to me, Jaya said, hey, you got to come out, you got to see Sharu, and maybe he could play the summit. I said, there's so many people playing the summit, we don't have the space for it. But I'll come to the event anyway and have a good time. And you played an ecstatic dance set at Indra's Warehouse, and it was so joyful, and it was nostalgic, it was joyful, it was everything. It was a journey. And I was sitting in the kitchen talking to the group, and I was like, oh my God, we have to figure this out, we have to. Yes. I don't know how we're gonna do this.
Yeah,
he needs to be there, because the whole experience of the summit is really my experience that I want to share when I come across people and things that create joy in me, that create excitement in me, that
yes.
Have me feel something, and I want to share that with people. So you did that for me in such a deep way that it was like, let's figure out how to make this happen.
Let's go. Yeah, I was feeling it too. I was like, yeah, let's do this. I'm all about it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I've been doing DJing since 2000, and started DJing ecstatic dances in 2011 at the main one in Oakland. And now I'm in Hawaii, like the birthplace of ecstatic dance. So I really feel like this global movement of this like conscious dance container and experience is really like one of my greatest gifts to share with the world. But I do it in a way that's like really deep and dark and dirty and playful and light and spiritual all at the same time. So it's a perfect kind of Eclipse ecstatic dance set.
Perfect, because we're all the things.
Exactly. Let's not just stay up here, and let's like go down there too, like let's do all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's when we
Cool.
feel most complete.
So how can we go to the festival, like the website, when is it, all those logistic things? Yeah.
Yes, all the practical logistics things. So solarpunksummit.com is going to have all of the information that you need on it to get tied into the event. It happens from October 12th through the 16th. So that's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We only have 4 days of content though. And I do want to say this, a lot of times people ask, hey, well, can we have a day pass? Because we are taking people on a journey, we don't do day passes except for Thursday. It's like that intro, like dip your toes in the pool. Cool. And so yeah, it's a beautiful experience. You want to be there, you want to commit to the container, because it is meant for maximum coherence.
Sure.
It's in Kingsbury, Texas, so about 40 minutes south of Austin.
Okay, perfect.
If that's helpful, at a beautiful venue right on the San Marcos River. So we'll have the elements with us: water, fire, air, earth, all the things. And yeah, it's gonna
cool. Well, I'm so excited to see you and be rubbing elbows in community pretty soon here as I move to Austin. Yeah, from Maui. So
awesome. Yeah, I'm glad we get to welcome you in this way.
Yeah, so brilliant. Yeah. Anything else?
I think that's it. You know, we're just excited to be in this and for people to choose. Thank you. I just want to say thank you to everyone for all the moments where you choose joy and love and
Mm,
choose to step into that higher vibration.
yes.
Feeling all the things, but choosing to step into the higher vibration.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah.
Choice. Brilliant.
Yeah. All right. Thank
Great.
you.
Well, thank you so much. I look forward to more.